Hegan Kogan again, Man Cave Classroom at 810. A little coffee, little cartoons. I know you're big on them, so here we go.
Wish I had some green eggs and ham for breakfast this morning.
Yeah, you can already identify pretty much. You recognize the artwork, who it's from, and just in case, when we're talking about sourcing and looking at documents, you have Dr. Seuss down here. This is in a magazine, and of course the year now is April 7th, 1942. So what do we
putting
know?
that in context, April. So we're 4 months
into the war,
5 months removed from Pearl Harbor.
Yep.
We are involved in the war, although we are not necessarily fighting boots on the ground yet. In Europe, we do have boots on the ground in the Pacific and in the North Africa.
And of course, FDR already enacted the draft before we even get involved in it. So now we're involved. And what's it going to take to win a war? Bullets, beans, Band-Aids, bucks, everything. And now we have this cartoon. So right over here, it's broken down. You have two portions here. Right up top here, it says the gas you burn up in your car in one whole year would only take a light tank 653 miles. And this guy over here is saying, so save it, pal. My trips are more important. So what are they saying here?
Well, first, although this is a political cartoon, you could definitely consider this to be a piece of propaganda.
Absolutely.
And propaganda is any type of information, usually of a biased nature.
Yep.
Now, just because we hear that word bias, some people automatically assume it's a negative.
Right.
No, there are positive biases, where you're trying to change people's opinions for the better. So any piece of information that is of biased nature, trying to persuade people to think a certain way or act a certain way.
Now, the interesting thing is, here you go, the gas you burn up in your car one whole year, and then you have all of these people here in that one car seem to have a good time.
Going on a vacation or a Sunday drive, going to the beach, who knows where they're going.
It almost screams like, you're wasting it, almost in a sense,
Oh, we've all been
recklessly,
there.
Recklessly.
High school, college, hey, you just get behind the wheel of a car, just go for a drive.
Absolutely.
Wherever you end up, you end up.
Would only take a light tank 653 miles. So what are they really encouraging you to do here?
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. And what do we need to sacrifice? Fuel.
Yeah.
Fuel that is going to be used not only just in this tank, but thousands of tanks, Jeeps, and whatever the case may be. So this is one of these things where they're trying to get you to conserve for the war effort.
Maybe your supermarket is a half mile away.
Right.
Do you really need to drive?
Nope.
Walk. Just walk.
And that fuel can be used for the war
Get
effort.
yourself a wagon and walk.
Now the cartoons are great. Now when it comes to conserving for the war effort, you have cartoons here, but the posters that were put out from this time period that
Office of War Information.
Oh my God, they were great.
WWII.
It's great artwork too, because they're trying to get you to conserve for war effort, trying to make you feel guilty. If you're looking here, they're trying to get people to enlist. The amount of posters are endless.
Yes.
And if we're looking,
I think the official tally was like 150,000 pieces of propaganda came out of the Office of War Information during World War II.
150,000 opportunities to analyze.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it. When you ride alone, you ride with Hitler. Join a car sharing club today.
Carpool. We got the HOV lane on the Long Island Expressway here. Trying to encourage people to ride together.
And the thing is that today there's a reward for it. You get to go in the lane that goes a little bit faster than the rest of the traffic. When you're looking here, hey, if you're riding alone, it's just guilt. There's no reward here.
Yeah.
And when you look at what the government does to try and incentivize people to do certain things, hey, if you carpool, you get to go in the fast lane.
Mm-hmm.
If you get an immunization or a COVID shot, you get free tickets to a bowl game or a free dinner.
Put in high efficiency windows or a high efficiency boiler in your house. You get a tax reduction.
But during this time, it's like, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to get possibly invaded.
Yeah,
by
like
Germany.
dude driving his convertible.
Right.
You're just as bad as Hitler.
Right.
It's gonna make you feel pretty darn guilty here.
Gosh. And then of course here, have you really tried to save gas by getting into a car club? That's what I would.
As he's bandaged up, blood trickling down over his right eye. Clearly, he's been in the mix.
And the thing is that if you're not working a type of industry job that's going to help the war effort, if you're not enlisting into the military, there is something that you can do. Not necessarily as active as the other two that I just mentioned. There is something you can do to help the war effort, even if you're not actually involved.
Yeah, if you're not growing a victory garden or buying Liberty bonds or whatever, you needed to be doing something.
And again, the growing the victory garden. A lot of those posters are kind of their target audience is usually like mothers and children or mothers and daughters. Everybody can do something. And here we go.
It's like, hey, Mr. Heek, do you really need that extra cup of coffee this morning? You know, because there's a GI somewhere on the front lines who maybe if they get that cup of coffee, they'll be more alert to stop an ambush or, you know.
So many possible answers to that. So many
Spit on
possible.
myself.
So do less, so they'll have enough. Rationing gives you a fair share. I think I'll draw the line at coffee when it comes to rationing.
Yeah.
But again, Mr. Kogan was bringing up, there's about 150,000 posters that were put out. You know, we're just looking at a couple. It's giving you an idea that, you know, when it comes to conserving for the war effort, whether you're, you know, actively involved in fighting in the war or growing victory gardens, anybody can do something to conserve for the war effort. And that's what was needed. It was an all hands on deck approach during World War II.
Even if you're a 75-year-old man who can no longer work or
Right.
serve, there's something you could do.
Yep. Yeah, we're good here. Thanks for watching.